Hi. Well, the higher you go on your evolutionary scale of consciousness, um, you will have less needs for human contacts than the sleeping human, the disconnected human. Because it's like, I would say, it's kind of like the ratio will shift. Like, while I would say the sleeping human is constantly surrounded by people. And that's what they need and that's what they want and whatever. Their attention is always out there. It's, they never really give themselves time to go inward. And sleeping humans are constantly networking and all that crap. And I would say it's an 80-90% of their time is they are surrounded by people, workplace, family. They are constantly in action mode, and maybe 10% or 20% of, yeah, that's a big one. If they turn to 20%, they are going inward, but they don't go really inward because they actually still doing something while they think that they are going inward, meaning they're listening to some shit, like something in the background, like TV, music, all that, or both. I had been in households where I did not even feel like going back anymore because it was like, it was like, oh, please, it's just so, while you're going through your process of processing and you are in your awakening and ascension process, you will just say, oh my gosh, I cannot handle this. I don't want to be in an environment like that. And then you say, okay, I need to be with me. And it's, you're hungry for yourself. And most people don't realize that. And the more you are awake, the more you like to be in solitude. For you, it's not something, a lot of people are so afraid being with themselves that they never want to be by themselves. They always talking, they always going out there, meeting people, doing this, doing that, doing the other stuff. They don't have that, just sit back and let's say just sit, I don't know, by the fire or on the beach, or just be in you without listening to something, without, all that. So old souls and free spirits really love to be with themselves, love to be in quiet times. They love that. They love to be in nature. Maybe you're just going out. I mean, after a while, I was just going out and just to sit on a bench, or just go, I don't know, somewhere where there are, I don't know, a park or a lake or something, and just be there. Nothing. And so we don't need these constant stimulation that other people need. I'm not saying that something is wrong with them. So please do not understand that or misunderstand me, okay? Because simultaneously and paradoxically, everything is true. Everything is truth on all kinds of different level of consciousness. And everything is valid and equally valid. So their life is as valid just the way they live it as we do, or I do, or some of the people that I know are on the path already. They're doing it and they're living it, and they don't need that much constant connection with people, with others, because they have a perfect connection to themselves. So they're multidimensional, and their life is more about really living in those peaceful reality that really just gives them so much more peace. And they're really condensing and giving their attention and energy to themselves. Basically, they're keeping it within, and out of that condensed energy, and that energy, they are using it for creativity and really whatever it is, whatever it means to you. Maybe you're a painter, maybe something. So you condense that. Other people are putting it and investing it in other people. But artists and writers and people who are highly creative, highly intuitive, and highly multidimensional are putting all that energy into whatever their joy of creativity. Okay? So, and for that, they need 80-90% of their time is about being in solitude, and maybe 10 or 20% is being out there and maybe communicating with other people. It doesn't mean that they do not have fun when they're out there, because they do, but it's just much shorter period, and definitely it's not with people who are doing the small talk. We have so much more in that sense. And please do not misunderstand it, a need, but it's not a need, because if we do not have that kind of surroundings, then we are rather are alone with ourselves, by ourselves, okay, in solitude, which does not mean that we are alone, because we feel the best when we are with ourselves, because then we write, we paint, we do creative work, whatever we do. Maybe you making jewelries, maybe something with beauty, whatever, you're surrounding yourself with beauty. There are so many things, and we're using our energy not into, for example, like other people do, and put it into sex, and this is the cheapest entertainment for people. I mean, even if they don't have anything, right, they can have sex, and many of them are having countless partners because they are hungry for something. They don't know what it is. It does not give them really fulfillment whatsoever, except that temporary they think it is, but then they feel worse, and they keep doing it, and then, it's just, and then they end up with STD and AIDS and whatever. But it's really like overemphasizing their, I would say, instinct and animalistic nature, which is like they're overdoing it. So that is the cheapest entertainment for humans, right? And then on the other hand, if, for example, us only want to connect on soul level, and if we cannot connect on soul level with, let's say, with somebody, we rather stay alone. We rather stay with ourselves, because we have it in us, and we rather fulfill ourselves using our sacral chakra and our energies, condensed energies, into creative work. So that's the difference between an awakened soul and a sleeping one. But hey, everybody is doing what they need to do. Everybody is where they need to be, and all is equally valid, and all is simultaneously true, and it's paradoxical. So if you really want to clear your confusion, which sometimes you feel until you are not fully, wholly integrated the left and right hemisphere of your brain, finishing up your ascension and completing the completion, the complete transmutation and your own personal metamorphosis, that is the one that you have to remember, that simultaneously and paradoxically, all of it is true, And you eventually, once you're done with illusion, and know that the whole thing is just an illusion, nothing is, dead serious. But you realize that this whole thing is just a holographic projection. And it is here for you to awaken yourself out of it and understand and really just, really getting to be awakened by your own self. And by awakening, you're healing yourself. And by all that, you see it from all around, from above and from below. It's like you're like completely content. And I had this dream about sitting in my chair with a with a blanket, with a soft blanket. And I was content. I felt so good. That was just beautiful. And I wore this white hat in the next part of the dream, where people were interviewing some people. I don't know if it was a workshop or something, and guys were talking about certain things relating to these issues and about consciousness itself. And then I had this big, huge white hat on my head, and I said, I'm sorry guys, but I need to take a moment here and really, I have to express that you are mistaken with that one. I have to tell you that. In that sense, whatever, on that level that you were talking about, I have to express my truth. And they wanted to shut me up. And guess what? I did not allow them to shut me up. I did not allow anybody to drown my voice, because I just knew. And I had to express it. So for us, it's very important that we who already see so much more beyond the human experience game program, where people have limited viewpoints and cannot see the whole enchilada. We got to open up and communicate our higher truth, heightened consciousness, which goes beyond all those who believe that are delivering the highest, because there is always beyond that, and there is always beyond that, and beyond that, and beyond that. So it's important that the next generation of consciousness and the leaders of consciousness are really come onto line and express their truth. And so basically, they're all coming out of hiding. And, everybody feels that they need to express their truth now, because this is exactly what it is. It is the time to express your own truth on your own level of consciousness. But as I said, they are teachers who are teaching in kindergarten, okay? And on that level of consciousness. And then there are teachers who are so-called teachers, okay, because you cannot teach anybody really. You can express your truth, and people who are on that level or coming into the next level will be always meeting those who are expressing a certain level of truth on that certain level of consciousness. So it's not that we are like, oh, I'm the best teacher, and then the other is, I'm the best teacher, I'm the best teacher. You are maybe a very popular expressionist of your truth, and you're sharing that truth on that level of consciousness. So all teachers are teaching on their level of consciousness. And everybody is a teacher and everybody is a student, and I am a student and I am a teacher, and I'm none of that. I'm the Alpha and I'm the Omega, and I am omnipresence. So once I bring it into one, meaning I am balancing it within me and merging my sacred masculine energy with my sacred feminine, so the action and the doer and the beer and the opening, feminine, which is constantly open and expressing unconditional love by sharing. It's a very giving energy. And at the same time, there is the sacred masculine, which is also inspirational activity and inspired action. So it has to come into balance. So once you merge that, and once you're really finishing up your ascension, this is when all of a sudden you see people that have lots of videos and they're starting to express their truth because they are ready to express their truth coming into that particular leading role. It doesn't matter, okay? Because it's, in a way, it leads the ones who are ready to be seen and recognize their own truth through theirs. And it's also like in the old days, I was always finding confirmations. After I knew or I had an aha moment, I found a video and something that really just confirmed that I'm on the right path, meaning my personal path, of course. And you also recognize the same things. So we're sharing it. Countless people are sharing their truth because it is time to open up. And as I say, I don't have scripts. I do not do that anymore. I'm done with perfectionism. And what we need is authenticity. What we need is originality. What we need is uncensored realness, okay? So we need uncensored raw wisdom. Uncensored raw wisdom. We don't need pretenders. We don't need pretenders and pretentious ways. We had enough of those, right? We had enough of those. And once you're done with that, then you really come and just say it as it is. So this is why Nova, I am Nova, is raw wisdom. It's raw, uncut, uncensored. And it's not adjusted to your likings. It's not adjusted to anybody's likings. And I remember once when I had, and you can find the video, it's like, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, it came, Be True to Yourself, and the pledge and whatever. You can find that in Stella Starseed or whatever, I don't know, with the name, but it's on the same channel. And when that came, when I was in the shower, and then all of a sudden this was kind of like this automatic writing, and all those words and sentences just started flowing out of me, and so I had to write it down, jump out of the shower. And so be true to yourself. You don't need to show off or say anything else that people accept. You left that long time ago. You don't care if they accept that. You have to express your own truth because you are that truth. It has to be expressed. So usually they say, don't let your truth and your dream die in you before you express it. You've got to express it. It's the same thing as, very interesting. I don't know if you ever heard about, I think, Bruno Gröning. He was like an energy healer and a lot of things. Look it up. He was from Germany. I think it was after the war or something like that. Anyway, and they did not allow him to heal after. He was healing people. He had such energy. But when they did not allow him to heal, that unexpressed healing energy actually ate him alive. Eventually he died of cancer, and he was burnt on the inside by that fire that he could not use for the benefit of other people as well. And that would have benefited him as well, because he had to express that. So it is very important, because when you have that fire in you, and when you know what really fires you up, what makes you feel alive, and maybe it is expressing what you know, expressing your truth. And it doesn't matter what it is. For some people, expressing themselves is cooking, I don't know, baking beautiful cakes or something else. So it doesn't matter what you do, but it's your truth, it's your beauty. Or maybe you do beautiful gardens. You got to express it, and you have to find a way where you can express it in a way which is, it's like a win-win-win, where everybody wins. You win, they win, and the world wins, right? Because in that sense, you've got to express it. You've got to express it. Because if you don't express it, it burns you inside. You've got to let and find an outlet, whatever it is. And if the outlet is YouTube, well, then you put it there. If, I don't know, an art gallery, and you paint, you just whatever. Or there is an online art gallery, and you can make your work known, and put up the photos. And then maybe you start, showing people what you have and what you can create. And so, you have to have an outlet for your creativity. And sometimes it's really big time. Of course, you do certain work, maybe, in your, I don't know, your immediate environment. Maybe people come to you and they whatever, in that sense. But after a while, also as we grow, and as I went through my own process of processing me, right, and becoming and actually giving birth to the new me, I also felt that I did not want to do one-on-one with people, really. And, that time is closed for me. I'm here for something else. And really, it's, as they always say, and it is so true, wisdom is letting go every day of something which does not feel current in our current beingness. It was one day, it took you here or whatever to a certain path or whatever, but it is not serving you anymore. You don't feel as much joy when you do it. It's like, it's just boring. It's boring. Or maybe you were in a way, you were giving that all for free for people, and they did not appreciate your time. They did not appreciate your whatever, like your friends and family. And instead of giving you joy of how much you know, they did not really appreciate. They just thought you're a stupid one, you're a crazy one in the family, you're the black sheep or whatever. Or people think about you, oh, you're crazy. Or like I remember once when I was in somebody's else's store, a friend of mine, and I was talking about these things like a few years ago, and she said, you know what, if you tell this to some people like me, and other people, they will think you're crazy. I said, okay, that was it. So what I was doing is I never went back, really. I say hi, whatever, but I'm not talking to people. So it's also for us to learn who is worthy of your words. Because, yes, we want to express it, but we also need to know what serves us better. on a long term. So maybe you are going to express it worldwide on the web, and you're better off doing that. Or let's say I had a friend who, I don't know, like 8 or 10 years ago, she said, you know what, whatever you are so interested in and you talk about, and so those deep thoughts that you have, I don't think you can speak about those things in this environment. I think you can really discuss it with self or with your cat. I mean, you hear stuff from people and said, exactly, all right. So you've got to find a way to express it. Maybe you're going to write a book. Maybe you're going to, you just somehow, sometimes it is better to sit by yourself and be with yourself, maybe write down all your thoughts, and then maybe one day you're going to have a book out of it. Because if every day you write down those thoughts and those things and they come out beautifully, maybe this is what's going to be. Or let's say, I don't know, it's like 25 years ago, I had these amazing dreams that actually at that time I was not even thinking of having a book or writing a book or something. And then they were showing me in that dream, it was a very vivid dream, that I was an established writer. Or let's say a few years ago, and at that time I really had no idea I'm going to be writing. And guess what? Now I'm writing more and more. And I kept writing, I don't know, like my writing just really like 3-4 years ago, I started really getting into posting and blogging and stuff like that. But, it was just for me to express, because I was going through my own ascension process. And so the dark night of the soul, etc., etc., etc. And the funny thing was that I got better and better at writing, right? This is raw material, you see? But it does not matter, because raw is real. Raw is authentic, uncensored. And this is exactly what we need. So when you want to cry, cry. If you want to curse, curse. If you want to laugh, laugh. If you want to say fuck, just say fuck. If you want easy, I mean real. Because, and the funny thing is, the more unreal people are, the more popular they are. A lot of them. Or when they become that much real and they do not hide behind a mask, all of a sudden they will gain recognition, because it is their time to really enjoy the fruit of their so-called labor, understanding, and become that new generational leader in consciousness. So it's very important that we all have that. And everything will come to you. Everything will come to you. You just do what you love, and it contains all parts, whatever it is. You might not even know how it's gonna come about, and you don't need to know the how and the when whatsoever. And it's just so mysterious, and you just start enjoying the blank page. You just start enjoying what's coming about. You start enjoying the unfoldment. And just where I've seen me at the airport once, and maybe in another video I even mentioned it, I had no address on my luggage. And I thought, I'll probably have to look for the address. No, destination is unknown. Destination is unknown. And so basically you start trusting the unknown. That is faith. That is trust. And this is exactly, and you actually trusting that, you're not interfering. So your non-interference, not even in your own unfolding, beautiful, magical life, which is, constantly unfolding. And you don't want to rescue and jump in, because the mind always wants to hurry you up. So the mind always wants to, make you uneasy. But soul just trusts. Soul just trusts, and soul is always at peace. The mind is the one that is constantly attacking your inner peace. And of course, sometimes they come in the form of other people, but basically you don't have to jump on that wagon, and you don't have to jump on everything that comes, and you just stay in it, and you rather, observe before you jump on the wagon. So you constantly are vigilant and constantly aware, and self-partnership, rather than always wanting to partnership with other people, because they might just not be, like they could seem, that maybe that is the wagon that you need to jump on, but don't be so hasty, because the more you stay in your space, meaning my space, right? The more you can stay self-aware and listen more what they have to say. So when people want to pull you out of your space for some reason, or some people show up or appear or whatever, always ask what's on your mind. So when they're suggesting something, when they say something, don't assume something that they mean. You've got to ask questions, because you know what you want, whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you need. They might present something of value, which was maybe your old dream, but maybe now your current and current currency is something else. And maybe what you used to want is like a delayed manifestation, but might not be completely true for you at this time. Or maybe, you feel like, yeah, I remember once, I would have been so happy if somebody comes with this. And on top of that, there will be certain things that come to you, but still when you reactively, unconsciously, just, automatically start responding, and it's reaction mode, instead of really, coming into, having all the information before you jump into anything and delude yourself or delusionalize yourself in that matter. Know all the information, because it might not be what you want. And when it's not happening. And let's say you respond automatically, and then it's like, not happening. And then you start badgering yourself. Oh, why is not happening? Did I do something wrong? No, because it is not your truth anymore. No, you did not do anything bad. It's just you started reactively responding to something which is out of your current alignment. Your current alignment with yourself, with your partnership, with the dream that you have now. It's not the old dream. Because even our dreams are changing, it changes things. So just make sure you do not partner up with something or someone who is not on your current level of consciousness. And so you need more information before you really start investing into something which is not what you really want. So please do not settle. Do not settle into any business relationship with anyone if it's not according to your terms. And you say, yeah, but you have to make compromises. No, you don't. Because when you make compromises against your better judgment and feeling what is acceptable to you, you're cheating yourself, because then you believe and you start thinking in 3D consciousness, which says you have to compromise. No, you don't. It's just not the right person. It's just not the right condition. It's just not the right whatever, So you've got to stay self-conscious. You know what you want. And your job is not to accept anything less. This is how you stay on course, on your path, on your little yellow brick road. And you do not get off that road until you get what you want. Okay? And you just stay true to your current currency and your current flow and your current alignment with self based on self-partnership. Because this is the whole thing. And you start, and basically this is like the greatest thing, because you start cutting the sandbags of the past. So you get lighter and lighter, and you get more sure and sure in yourself. You trust more and more of your own path, your own self-worth, and what you feel worthy of you. You become this powerful force. And there will be things that come to you, just like you're a light, like a lighthouse, or just a light on a terrace, like a little lamp. And then all kinds of bugs will come to you. Little moths will come to you. And there will be, other beautiful butterflies that come to you. So you have to sift and sort out what is not the representation of your current alignment with your self-empowerment and powerful self, basically. We all are learning to apply and really bring in and bring our powerful self into life, giving birth to her or him. And so this is like very, very important, very important. Well, thank you for listening. Watch out for other videos, I'll be sharing them. Bye.